Hey, what's up, guys? So, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my channel, Playing the Field with Chicks. I want to take this time to just say thank you guys so much for subscribing. Please do keep on subscribing. Please keep on liking. Please keep on commenting. It's something that I really appreciate. And seeing the love that I'm getting from the YouTube audience is really great because I've seen it on Facebook, I've seen it on X, and seen it on TikTok. But now seeing you guys on YouTube, I'm just like, oh, great. This is great. I am conversating, or at least I am having back and forth with people that are watching this content on YouTube, so which is great. Now that we got that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. Or should I say, ladies and gentlemen, Mamelodi Sundowns has a problem. Guys, so I did some homework. Nah, I did some homework and I wanted to share it with you guys. So listen to these stats. So let's go back to 2021. No, 2020, 2021 season, 2020, 2021 season. So that's about 5-6 seasons back, right? 2020, 2021 season. Mamelodi Sundowns dropped 23 points in the whole campaign. 23 points in the whole campaign. Next season, 2021, 2022 season, they dropped 25 points in the whole campaign. The following season, they dropped 20 points in the 2022-2023 season. The following season, 2023-2024 season, 17 points. 2024-2025 season, which was last season, they dropped 17 points again. This season, now that we're going into the AFCON break, Mamelodi Sundowns have already dropped 13 points. 13 points. Let me just repeat that. The last 2 seasons, they dropped 17 only. This season, they've dropped 13 points. Unbelievable. You know, someone was in my comments and said this, just to show you that I read all of my comments. Someone said, I've got an agenda against Miguel Cardoso. And I'm like, I've got an agenda. Me? I have an agenda against Miguel Cardoso? No, you got this wrong, man. You got this wrong because the numbers are showing. The numbers are showing. And it's not that I have a problem or I've got an agenda with Miguel Cardoso. I'll tell you this. Miguel Cardoso, for me, has been a little bit disappointing. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you my reasons why, for me, he has been disappointing in terms of when he's coming to Mamelodi Sundowns. Last season, it was brilliant. They were scoring goals. They were on fire. Then I thought to myself, like, okay, great. Ribeiro goes and does his thing. Now, once Ribeiro is taken out, this side is like it's completely different. The dominance is not the same. And it feels as though, like, snap. So without the Ribeiro guy, it seems like it's not necessarily as dominant. It seems like that flair is not necessarily there. And you go back to last season in terms of the number of times Ribeiro actually played for Mamelodi Sundowns. He played a lot. He played a lot. Even in games where he could have rested, he played him a lot. And I'm thinking, okay, cool. And even when you look at the style of play of Miguel Cardoso, the one thing that irritates me about Coach Miguel Cardoso is that he sometimes focuses too much on having to try and control a game rather than putting opponents away. And that was not the Sundowns that we know. That's not the Sundowns that I know. That's for sure. And also, his interviews, guys, like it's he gets to a place where he gets rattled. And sometimes these questions are fair because of this is the standard that we've known Mamelodi Sundowns to be. So when you exiting cup competitions via Stellenbosch, when you exiting cup competitions via Maruma Gallants, when you exiting the CAF Champions League in the way that you performed against Pyramids, questions are going to come in. And it's fair for people to ask these questions. And sometimes he goes on about, oh, there's 15 teams behind us. He goes on about, oh, why am I the only team are we the only team expected to win the league? Dude, you are Mamelodi Sundowns. I don't know if you know, you are 8 times league champions in a row. You've won the most league titles ever. Well, in the PSL era. So that's one of the things I would say with Miguel Cardoso. Then I get to this point as well. And this is probably the main point that I wanted to say with regards to this video. Mamelodi Sundowns' standards have dropped. They have. And statistically, with regards to the numbers that I've told you guys, it's true. Mamelodi Sundowns, in the last 5 seasons, the most points that ever dropped was 25. They're already on 13. And it's not even like we're already on 13 points that Mamelodi Sundowns have dropped. And my thing is that I look at it and think, is it complacency? Have Mamelodi Sundowns become complacent? The aura is also going because it almost feels like teams go into games feeling like they can get something over Mamelodi Sundowns. That fear factor is a little bit not there. Comedies actually referenced it the one time where you were speaking about sometimes Sundowns won the game in the chain. I mean, in the chain. Oh no, in the tunnel. They won the game in the tunnel before the game even had started. They had already known that they won the game because they looked over at the opponents and they were like, "Nah, you guys, now we see you guys shivering. That's how Alena. You can't compete against us. But that's the aura that Mamelodi Sundowns had. That's the aura that Pito Masmane drove, an aura that Rulani drove. Those were the auras that they had in the past 8 seasons that they were winning league titles. It almost felt like they won the game before the game was played. I mean, there was even some people talk about that Rulani when he's sitting on the bench and he's talking to his players. You know, he's sitting on the cooler box or something and he's talking to his players. And people comment about that Mamelodi Sundowns are like, yo, if you walked out with a draw with that Sundowns, it was absolutely a dream. And it's true because they actually almost went a whole season unbeaten within the league. They almost became invincible. They could have done it. They absolutely could have done it. And when you look at the fact that the squad as well within itself, I checked there, they've got about 13, 14 players that are 30 years old and above. So has the squad aged? Has it aged? Is it a squad that needs more refreshing? And then I sit back and I just think, nah, Shakes, I'm not gonna give Cardozo that excuse, man. I'm not gonna give him the excuse of the squad having to be old and having to be sort of refreshed. Perhaps there is an element of the squad that does need refreshing, that's for sure. But I look at the squad in general still and think, nah, man, this squad, it definitely can still pull punches. It definitely can still hurt teams. But it's the manner in which the squad is being used, in my opinion. And I don't think this squad is being used to a point where they can absolutely dominate games. That's for sure. And even the Pirates game, if I go back to the Pirates game, I think Sundown scored first in all three games. Né? The two in the MTN and then the one in the league. They scored first. And after scoring first, they didn't go any further for them. They were focusing on having to control the game. But that's what I've seen of Mamelodi Sundowns under Miguel Cardozo constantly this season. In terms of they just worry about, hey guys, let's control the game. Let's just control the game. And another thing, we mustn't also take this away, which has been going around. People talk about Flemingberg, right? Let's talk about him. Let's talk about the management of Mamelodi Sundowns. You guys might be to blame as well. You guys might be to blame as well because this is happening under your watch. It's happening under your watch. You guys went with a different direction in having to take Miguel Cardozo, right? And Miguel Cardozo offers you a different style as to what a Mangoba would offer you, or a Rolando would offer you, or even a Pizzo would offer you, right? And that was in the notion of it having to be what's this thing? It having to be the CAF Champions League. It had to be that. It had to be the CAF Champions League. And unfortunately, last season it wasn't. And even that game against Pyramids, it was awful, man. I mean, Sundowns did not deserve to win that game. Those two games. And also, the way that they scraped past Al Ahly in the semis, I think, that was also pretty awful too. And I think the management, you guys also have to take blame for this. You guys have to also take accountability for this. And also the fact, look, I mean, I never want to talk about the national team and whose numbers are where and whatever's and all that stuff. But when you're getting a place where you are contributing 10 players at the previous AFCON to an AFCON side of Bafana Bafana, and now you're contributing only five, something is up. Something is up. And of course, the different direction is having to sort of get the foreign players to sort of come in and the high talent in terms of them having to raise the ceiling. But the standards have dipped. And the management, and Flemingberg as well, I don't want them to get away with saying they can't be accountable for that. But I will say this, with what I see that's there, with the ammunition that's there, that's currently there at Mamelodi Sundowns, it can definitely play better. It can definitely still dominate games. It can definitely still get to a place where it's not dropping a lot of points. And Miguel Cardoso, man, you are the front head for it, man. And the interviews and the styles that you're going about it and the fatigues and all that stuff that you had mentioned, the fatigues have stopped, which is great. But it's like the way he moves around, I'm just thinking like, bro, man, the standards, it's funny. We go back to that thing Rolani said before he left, right? Talking about sometimes empires don't collapse overnight. They just bit by bit by bit. And is this what we're seeing from Mamelodi Sundowns this season? Before I do go, I ended off with this. Orlando Pirates, you will never get a better opportunity to win a league. You will never get a better opportunity to end this league drought. As it currently stands, if Orlando Pirates win all of their games and even lose to Mamelodi Sundowns, that one league game that they have to still play, Orlando Pirates will be champions. They've got a game in hand. They're 2 points clear of Mamelodi Sundowns. Win that game in hand, you're 5 points clear. So even if you meet Mamelodi Sundowns down the road, even if you lose that league game, you can still win the league. So in other words, Sundowns are expecting you or would be hoping that you drop points. And don't get me wrong, it's a marathon. It's a marathon. But you cannot deny that Mamelodi Sundowns, the standards have dropped. And I know a lot is going to happen in Jan. I know January, a lot is going to happen because I know they see it too. They see it too. But Orlando Pirates, this could be it. This could be your season. You will never get another opportunity because they will know. They will know themselves that they can't have this happening again. And you know what's funny? For the dominance that Mamelodi Sundowns have shown in the last 8 years, of course, you would think that one season they can. But unfortunately, the standards you guys raised were so high that if it ever dips, you have to call it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What happened to Mamelodi Sundowns? Have the standards dipped? Flemingberg. Let me know what you think about him. Miguel Cardoso. Let me know what you think about him. What needs to change? Players or not? You let me know. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like and comment. And I appreciate everybody that watches the stuff.